Banter fam, happy Wednesday to you all. Guys, market's slowing down a little bit. I was looking yesterday. We did have one or two altcoins break a little bit of the highs. But overall, we do have the market kind of settling a little bit. And we want to pay attention to what's kind of happening. Now, we did have a nice recovery, okay, over here. But we are still sitting with a lower high on Bitcoin. So today I do want, before we get too excited, we're going to go up straight away from here. We must know that there is one more possibility of this dip off here. And then you guys know, bull, 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 right? The big explosion, all-time high break. However, I don't want us to forget that just before we got here, right, we were at a critical stage. Bitcoin was sitting at these areas of the 90,000s, and you could see how it basically chopped around. And it also gave an opportunity the first time here to say, hey, things are looking strong, but it came with the secondary trap. And I want you guys to realize that what we are currently seeing now is a little bit of a midterm cool down. That's what you're seeing, which means that the higher time frame RSIs are important to make their way down. Now you see the 12-hour is still not there just yet, right? And what tends to happen is the bigger move actually happens when we get lower down over here at the bottom. So it's basically telling us now, just get ready for your damn buys, but stick to the plan. Don't allow one little move or anything like that to change the plan. So today I still want to speak about the continuation of the pullback and what that looks like. I do think because the alts rose a little bit more yesterday, that the buy zones are going to move up a little bit slightly, but we still got to get ourselves into great habits. That's what we're about to do together now. Get yourself into good habits now. So the rest of the bull market is not this guess game, and we can understand. I will speak about if things change. Things go bull straight away. There's a great bull flag that is forming on Bitcoin as well. And what is going to be the execution? So today, again, I want to make sure you don't get trapped. I want to make sure that you survive this market. And remember that when these little midterm things come here, they do trap you at the end. They do play games. And we are nearly there, right? By Friday, Saturday, we should be oversold and ready to damn explode again. So all that it is teaching you that patience and then when to be extremely in the game. Today we focus, well, this week in general, we focus on entries. We focus on getting in tune and rhythm with the market. And I want to show you guys a couple of things. Alts are looking good, right? But if I show you this over here, here's an example of ThorChain. They're losing a little bit of trends, right? Look at that. There's a little sign there. So that sign is there just to keep us aware that, hey, another 10-15% dip can income, and you don't want to be caught on the other side. So let's have a fantastic show. We are more bullish than ever. We are excited that the momentum is coming back, baby. But it is important for us to really understand what's going on and to set ourselves up for a successful buy the damn altcoins and rally and make money on the next one. The most in time. Let's go.
I try and help everyone in my space, and this is what I get. I try and fight the devils, but inside I'm just like 𝗧𝗿𝗍𝗱🐺. Welcome to Sheldon Show.
Banter fam, how are we doing? Guys, are you drinking enough water every day? I'm not. Keep filling water to the brain. It's important. I'm reminding myself. It's crazy when markets go green. I don't look after myself as much. It's mental, right? So it's like, get yourself, we're like so focused on the damn money. Just keep hydrated, keep strong. So you can't pass out while you're making millions, right? Guys, how are we doing? If you're brand new channel, hit the subscribe button. Guys, like it up. Who's got some limit orders in over there? I want to see who's in the market. Remember, my long-term, my spot positions are printing right now. I'm happy with that. We literally got bottom entries that we can be excited for. When it comes to a little bit of short-time trading, we've got to be in tune with the market, which means you can't pre-jump the gun. We did a little bit of this in November. We tracked the market beautifully, but we kind of pre-jumped. And we got to remember that the market kind of catches you a little bit off guard. So right now, what you are seeing is markets start to slow down. So for now, we still stick to plan A. Plan A is another dip-off, right? That's the plan. By being prepared for that, we'll be ones that catch it and not be surprised when it incomes. Then we also have the full bull hat, right? The full bull hat to say, hey, we're breaking here now. It's official and we are going. So let's get down to the basics. The first basics is understanding here that Bitcoin itself, right, has to start moving, okay? It now does have the opportunity today to start moving. It definitely does. This was a good recovery, okay? But we need to see a higher low in play now, and we need to break the important trends. We break the important trends at the top, Bitcoin's going to chase it down. Not only that, altcoins are going to start moving too. But until then, we've got to remember that Bitcoin could be in this little shakeout phase here, where it just wants to chop a little bit. Now, if you just pre-jump the whole time, you're going to put yourself in the scenario where you're going to kind of get trapped, right? And it's going to create confusion, which means that when this market goes into this phase where it starts to chop around a little bit, you just got to turn a little bit patient, okay, and be prepared. And again, look at this. Instead of wasting your time, you could have just bought all the support levels, right? Instead of trying to get in here, then panicking out and getting stopped out and this, whatever, where was the support? Okay, and that's the level. So yet again, if I look at Bitcoin, I don't see support of where we just bounced, right? I don't see full support over here at this point. I see the support a little bit lower. So I have a choice. I can either now go and FOMO in a little bit and get excited in these areas over here, or I can really realize that the support is sitting down lower. And let's actually go in here so I can show you. All right, let's go here and let's show you. Oh, there's H bar coming into an entry, by the way. I'll explain that to you guys on the next up. Okay, but let's go in over here and jump in and just show you guys. If you look on the high time frame, supports are sitting a little bit lower. Supports are sitting over here. So if we're going to try exhaust ourselves too much over here and realize that support is sitting at 99,000, okay, I'd rather just wait and be patient for 99,000. Okay, once we are confirmed, because again, what I do think is happening is I think we're going to get the 12-hour and the daily RSIs to come down. That's what I think what's happening, right? Which means that doesn't mean that necessarily the market's going to come down on a super high time frame for long. It just means it might even chop, right? And let's not waste our damn money anymore. If it chops like this, what it is actually doing is it's giving time for this RSI to actually make its way down to the bottom. Then we hold a strong support. There's probably a last little shakeout, and then we get going. Now, again, I don't think this is going to go much further than Friday. It might be done by today. We'll go through the scenarios now, okay? But I do think for the next 2-3 days, don't be surprised if the market does chop, and don't be surprised if the last move is this, like I spoke about. So the same pattern that I spoke about previously can still very much be in play. So let's go through the two scenarios. Again, the problem that I'm seeing on the short time frame now is we are making a lower high, right? So again, keep paying attention to what has currently been happening. You could see that when we started moving up over here, we had the higher highs, higher lows, and we continued that until we had the first low, right? All of a sudden, there's the first lower low. Then what was needed was this needed to reverse, okay? It hasn't done that just yet. What it's actually done is giving us a lower high. So what is stopping it from giving us a lower low? Right, into the big support zone over here, then we can start shifting. Okay, again, when this market is sitting flat like this, you've got to understand something. Bitcoin's preparing to break all-time high, right? That's what it's preparing for. So if it's preparing, it makes sense that it prepares right before the wall, before it's going to break it. Every time we have these big breakouts, it always chops and prepares, and that sideways is what creates the sustainability and the pump through there. Right? It gets that last little shakeout before the market moves. And it's quite crazy how in this time, people will kind of lose focus and then it moves up and they come chasing back again. Okay, so again, that can come big into play. So let's go through the two scenarios together and let's understand where we're at. Here is the bear scenario. Now, again, 3 days bear, bull my whole life. My blood's green, right? We know it very much over here. But look at this over here. First, lower high, and we are breaking a short-term trend. So it's giving me something like this. Okay, that at any point, and remember I showed you guys this yesterday as well, stock markets, let's see if it actually reversed. Stock markets are still sitting in resistance. So it's not like the stocks are even, if this broke out yesterday, I'll be sitting here today saying, hey, there's nothing that can really slow Bitcoin down. Now, again, I don't think stock markets are as strong as running Bitcoin as what it was a couple of weeks ago. But I do think if a stock market has a correction of 5%, I do think crypto is going to pull back a little bit in that time. So the fact that we're still sitting with stock markets in resistance and it hasn't turned this into support yet, we got to be aware that this can come down. And this could be the little catalyst that just brings Bitcoin down those couple of percents, brings the altcoin into our fat, juicy zones, okay? And then we get going from there. So again, this is what it looks like over here on Bitcoin, okay? Is we do have our first little higher, lower low and lower high, and we're currently losing trend. So what this is meaning now, that over the next 2 hours, we should see a little temporary bounce within the market, but overall, we should actually see another little leg that possibly makes its way down. Now, there's two scenarios on where this is going to go. There is a higher low possibility. We come a little bit higher over here than the 101, and then we get going from there, right? But as it stands right now, just keep in mind that we still have that important zone where support is sitting. This is where buy orders are sitting at this level over here, right? Over here, who's got the tequila? There is a lot of tequila over here, right? A lot over here. Yeah, if we drink tequila now, we might get drunk a little bit too early, right? And I'm tired of giving away cheap money, right? I'm quite exhausted from doing that. I want to kind of stay level-headed and keep my head focused in the game. So I'd rather be a little bit more patient and just get my zones and just become way more strict within myself. So there is 99,000. That's the move over there. From there, quick V-shaped recovery, and we start preparing ourselves for $108,000, right? That's the little bear scenario. Bull scenario looks like this. We start making our way to 108K very soon, right? Which basically means that this over here, and I just want to show you guys how I'm going to trade this personally, so it doesn't look confused. There's two scenarios here, but how I'm going to trade this personally. But this is basically showing that the market was doing this, then dipped off, it had a strong recovery, and all that it needed was a higher low. And a higher low gives us that W bullish pattern. Okay, and it might actually be very strong from here, and we get going, and that will just really justify that this market is turning so much more bullish than what people are expecting, because bull runs happen quickly. They don't happen in a short period of time. Look how long bear markets last, and look how fast the damn bull market comes. And if this market wants to go, it is going to go. Right? I told you guys previously, pullbacks are going to be scarce, right? But we got to understand that when they're making this flag and going sideways, they shake out one more. There is still going to be opportunity, okay? And we haven't had the full breakout of the all-time highs on altcoins and that just yet over there as well. So for now, we're still seeing ourselves to actually get reasonable entries, okay? But the strategies will slowly adjust as we move. So the way I'm tracking this is I'm basically tracking Bitcoin on its way down here, right? And what I have here is this could be two things. It could be a nice little cup and handle, okay? And an explosion over here. So what I'm doing is I'm taking these two trends over here. You see the two tops that we have formed? And that's what I'm basically doing. Now, why it's important to do those two trends? Because you do have a little shorter term trend over here sitting, okay? But why it's so important, this one? Because if you draw the top trend over here, you will see that it's still quite far. So it's still just reminding you again, Bitcoin can do this, and it can just chop a little bit, right? And then it can pump and then get going over there as well. So don't allow this to exhaust you over here too. So when we are outside of this trend, like this, boom, let's go. We're going for the highs. Until then, I ain't falling for your trap no more, right? We've been through this enough. We've seen enough, right? We've seen how this game plays and how it plays with our brains. Until then, because that's what they do to us. I remember sitting in Dubai, when was it, last week, or the week before? And I remember how this phase was also tough. Even though Bitcoin just pumped all the way to 95,000, we just had these gains. This was tough because everything you buy just chops and chops and chops. And it's like, oh, it's quite exhausting. Okay. Where for me, it's quite simple. You know, that this was a little area that was a little bit of a trap. But other than that, if I just tracked from the top, you see this top here, it would have allowed me to kind of just ignore all that mess. Focus on the buys here. Don't focus on the breakout yet. Focus here. Right? Allow this. When it gets through this, look how it turned it into support and then went. That was the signal. Okay, but this is actually the opportunities. So for now, we have the right to say we want to buy these things a little bit cheaper at good damn levels, right? We aren't going to chase the stuff. We aren't going to be that. So that's the play over there when it comes to the bullish scenario. When it comes to altcoins, they are looking very strong. I'm not going to deny, right? They're looking strong. And we're going to get to a point where when real alt season starts, right? Because again, we're looking here on the weekly on Bitcoin dominance. That's pretty cute, that what we're seeing right now, right? But when we start this crap over here, and I do think a bigger red candle is coming next week. I only think that this little pullback now is just going to pull the alts back a little bit more than Bitcoin. But I think the bigger altcoin pump is coming, way bigger than what we just saw, right? Because I think the next trends that we start getting to now is we start getting to the big trend. So it's telling us very clearly at any point that we should come down here. So there's a big red candle incoming. Okay, and that's going to be fun. And if we break that, then I'm going to be so excited for everyone. I really am. We've been waiting a long time for this. Okay, but if you look at total 3 here, it's looking strong, but I must still remember that total 3 has a lot of resistance here. Right? It's got 1, 2, 3 area, 4 touches over here, this low over here, these lows over here. A lot of resistance is sitting at this area over here. So as it stands right now, I'm still playing on a little bit of that idea of Bitcoin can go to that 90,000, the 98,000. Okay, and they're also going to go that little bit lower than what we spoke about yesterday, right? Into that zone over there. Right now, the only support I see is the support over here, and I'm still going to keep that in mind as we go. Again, this is the first scenario. The second scenario, again, is let it pop, let it rise, and let it go. Either way, I think Friday we have between now and Friday, we have our entries and we are in the market, and we're going to make money for a couple of days again and have a lot of fun, right? But as it stands right now, now, why am I saying that there can be a fast V shape over here? You got to remember the market's about to get very volatile. Okay, you can see very quickly, even on the damn 1 hour, the percentages that tokens are moving. The fact that we're moving 2, 3, 4% on 1 hour time frames now, per candle is huge. We're definitely getting back. But the big concern that I have here is obviously the Bitcoin dominance, right? The Bitcoin dominance on the mid time frame. I showed you the high time frame now. If you look at the mid time frame, you could see we lost a great trend, telling us that there's another massive leg incoming. That's way bigger than the one we just saw. But we have not fully retested the trend. Now we retested a little bit here, but we didn't hit major supports. Now we've hit support. So it's just telling me that when and if this Bitcoin pullback happens at any point now, it is going to take a little bit of heat from the altcoins. It's going to basically, the alts will drop a little bit harder. And that's why I have the play here of the alts at any point can have that little bit of a sharper pull over here. Okay. And then we get rocketing, but you can see it very clearly here. And if you look at a couple of other things as well, when it comes to the dominance as well, you can see these RSIs are kind of tapped out on the bottom, right? The 12 hours sitting at the bottom there, the dailies now get there at the bottom as well. So it's just reminding you again that there's a little bit of Bitcoin temporary strength incoming. And then from there, yes, from there, all of our bank accounts, all of us will be printing, right? Exactly. Okay, so let's jump into some of the juice here. Just before I jump into that, guys, quick shout out and a massive join Sniper School. Remember, it's the first time I'm giving away a lot. I'm giving away 500 Bitfunded accounts for those who are in school first and accomplish first, right? You get these free accounts where you get to trade a $79 account, 2 stages, the demos, and if you pass it, you trade with real money, right? So join Sniper School. All you need is an exchange link. We have BTC.D, we have 𝗬𝗟𝗡𝗏, we have Bybits, we have 𝗨𝗏𝗱𝗏, and we all have incredible deals with every single one of them. Cash bonuses, discounts on fees, cashbacks, all of these type of things, okay? And it gets you an entire school for free, okay? So once you sign up with any of these exchange links, it doesn't cost you anything, okay? You join and you click on Sniper School over here. And remember, this cohort that joins very soon, let's actually click on it over here, okay? I am 6 days time. 6 days time. So all you do is fill this in here. Sign up, fill up, and do your verification. Right? That's using the link. And I'm giving away 500 to 1,500 Bitfunded accounts on that stream. Incredible, right? Incredible. That gives you a perfect area to start the journey. Okay, let's jump in. Let's get going. ETH is still moving upwards, guys. So even though it's making higher highs, it is still not outside of that trend. And what you could see here actually, and I want to draw this trend correctly over here, you could see it's in an opening wedge. And what that basically means is it's getting more and more volatile, which means this could easily keep chopping like this, shake out, and then get going, right? So ETH for me, I'm still looking at the 2-3 area, and I'm still got to looking a little bit at the 2-2 area over there as well. You look at your Doge coins. This is the bull scenario, for instance. Okay, but it's quite easy right now. Doge and these tokens here are now printing the right pattern, right? This token itself, and I think Doge is going to be one of those that really outperform the market in the next pump, right? It's going up and it's doing this, right? So the key level to keep an eye out is that trend. That's the key to pay attention. But remember, it's also still making lower lows and lower highs. So it means if it comes down now, it's very likely it's going to make a lower high. Straight into support, right? Straight into the support pocket. And that's what we're saying here. We just want to pay attention that we are buying on support levels. And that's the support there. Your 20 cents, your 21.5 cents, that is the area for the buys. And that's where I'm waiting for now. Again, a couple of hours go by. Shows here tomorrow. And we have done this. You know what I want? Give me my first 4-hour higher high. Not in an uptrend. This doesn't count, right? Give me my first higher high when we've been going down. Give me that. And boom, and away. But if it's going up like this, then that doesn't count. That's a bearish pattern that's formed. That's a trap that's incoming at any point there. Give me that little pop, come through, and then I will change my limit orders. Until then, my limits are sitting between 20 cents and 21 cents. Now, let's excite you a little bit. Let's speak about why it's so important to pay full attention right now and pay attention to these damn buys right now, because the next areas and the next targets, and I want to show you over here, the next targets for Doge, right, is this area over here. So this is where the next pump we are looking for is this area over here, which is around the 34 to the 36 cent mark, right? This, from where we are right now, is a good 49%, but we are not 100% that we are going to go straight from here. That's why I'm praying. From here, 65% trade, that's a banger. Okay, and again, I think it's going to be in a couple of days. I think it's going to rip, right? So there is Dogecoin sitting nice and strong. Looking at Cardano, still making lower highs at this point. So this is the zone. However, it is strong. Okay, but here's the support. The supports are sitting at 75 to 77 cents. That's where it is. Let's excite you again. Where are we going next? To the highs, baby. Cardano, I think, is going to be the leader of one of the leaders in the next pump. I think Doge, I think Cardano, I even think Solana, right? I think your mid caps are about to wake up. Why? Because Bitcoin woke up, right? Then your ETH woke up. Okay, we've seen the two. Bitcoin and ETH ripped, right? Now it's time for the large caps to really get going. Okay, and we can see your memes and your microcaps also starting to move, but they haven't started the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of percent yet. They've all pumped 70%, 80% since the bottom, some 120, some this. Wait till we get to the 500, 1,000%. You know, you get to those crazy. That all comes part of the cycle. Remember, the money moves from here to here to here to here. Right? That's where the money flow moves. So again, I think the Cardanos and that are kind of priority on my list. And this is what I said. What am I buying most? I'm buying blue chips because I think blue chips are going to be the ones that hit the market next. And then I think you're going to lose entries. Then you're going to move to the lower caps because that's where the opportunities are going to be next. But for now, blue chips are the big ones. So again, after this, I see Cardano going easily over $1 to $1.20. Right? Nice, strong move over there. When it comes to Solana, Sol started waking up very strong yesterday. It actually put in a higher high, but it is still fighting. If you put this trend at the top there, look at that, right? It is still having this trend to the upside at this point, which means that the trap is still very much available. Now, again, what I'm preparing for on Sol is $240 to $250 as the next pump. That's what's separating us from here, which is resistance. Resistance is all these lows and this over here. So there's a lot of resistance between 180 and 190 on Sol. Okay, and support is sitting at 160 to 170. So that for me is where the support is even a little bit lower, guys. And don't be surprised if Sol does go there. Now, again, it's one of the strongest. It may not. Okay, but again, don't be surprised if we do go late 150s as well. But at 160, 170 is the sweet zone for me for Sol for the entries now. But after that, guys, may it do this, okay? And that's where our entries are. For now, again, I'm pretty confident we go down, but let's see. Okay, from here, we go over here. Big trade. Big trade on Sol. Sol is still going to be one of the great ones. Then, AVAX, I think, is going to be a monster trade incoming. Right? Look at this. You could see here so clearly. I love charts like this. It looks really good because the reason is you could just see it so clearly. The lower highs everywhere, everywhere. Lower high, higher high. First time, right? Now what are we looking for? Higher low, and after this, explosion, right? And the next pump could easily take us anywhere to $38 to $42. Right, on AVAX. I think then gaming is going to start waking up. I still think AVAX is a player because it's one of the biggest players in gaming. Right, I really think it's one of the biggest chains in gaming, and they're really doing magic out there. So I think they built so hard in the bear. I think they're going to outperform a big part of the market. I really do. You know me, I'm not too much in fundamentals, but I have seen how hard these guys are building in the bear, and I think they're going to outperform quite a bit of the market. So right now, as it stands, there's your supports. Your supports are sitting at the 22.7 and the $24 mark, and your resistances are sitting here. Now, guys, I want to remind you again, if you are an investor or a spot trader, there's nothing wrong with taking a position now. You know, if you don't mind going in a 10% drawdown or 15% drawdown, then go for it, right? That's your choice to take at any point. But for me, as someone it's not just about. For me, it's like it's not just about nailing the entry anymore. It's about getting myself into good habits, get myself into a bit of profit taking and setting limit orders to buy dips. Just getting myself in this motion so that when the craziness begins, I kind of don't lose myself in the process. It's very important. And that's where I'm setting myself at this point. There's two reasons for it. There's one to get my mind in the right place. And there's one to really, you know, don't chase pumps. Do something different than what you did previously and you'll get a different result. So here again, your resistance is above. Why would I buy it now into resistance unless it's long-term or spot? As it stands right now, that and a big push up to the $40 mark. Another token waking up and that's ready for an explosion is Chainlink, guys. Chainlink as well. So clear, right? Lower, 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 first higher high, higher low, and from here we start the short squeeze. Remember, this is all painting a picture. It's painting a picture that right now we have a couple of hours, couple of days of Bitcoin outperforming the alts. But what comes next? The short squeeze on altcoins, right? The real juicy part that incomes. So again, when you go through all the charts and you start looking, you start to see that, hey, it makes sense that it cools down here because after all of this resistance, where the hell's the next one? And let me show you this again over here. Look at all these lows and all these highs sitting in one place. After that, where are they? Up here, right? Gives you an idea that that is the money to be made, that's where things are pushing. So again, your chain links are sitting over here. Your chain links are sitting around this 15.5 and the 16.5. Okay, there's your buy zones. And again, I'm preparing for up to a 70% pump from those areas over there, 73, 75%. Again, I think a lot of alts will break highs, but that's where I'm seeing just for the next pump alone. 𝗬𝗍, guys. 𝗬𝗍 woke up, one of the strongest alts that are moving right now. And I think we're going to catch this thing at a good level. I do. Firstly, we are sitting at some big resistances. I just want to show you guys over here. We're basically 60, 70% of the way we have recovered, which means this is usually a strong little rejection zone. Okay. And what it means now is I do think we're going to have a nice little 𝗬𝗍 entry. And it looks like the good 𝗬𝗍 entries right now, because definitely one of the leading alts at this point, is in the zone over here. Okay, which is basically 60% of the pump that it just made, but it's sitting here between the 3.3 and the 3.5, right? So it's saying a nice 15, 20% lower than where it is now. And don't also be surprised if we do come areas to the low threes as well. This is one token that if it gets to those zones, I'm interested. Now, another thing to just help you guys as well. When these tokens are going to make their way down, they are going to give you a very important trend line to track. So you got your areas here, just track them down with the trend line too. The trend line is something that's to help you to say, hey, maybe change your strategy, change your thinking. If we start to break trend, gives you a bit of an idea. That's an emergency trend. Until then, why am I touching this thing? Let it ride, right? This is where I want to catch it. There's the trend. There's where I'm preparing. But 𝗬𝗍, the next pump, guys, is into all-time highs. Now let's go through a couple of scenarios of where this takes 𝗬𝗍, right? Because you're going to face two battles now. The one battle you're gonna, well, not face, but there's two strategies you need to pay attention to. The one is a lot of altcoins have previous data, right? So you can just go see where are these levels of where it was at, right? Where if it breaks here, it's gonna go here. But a lot of alts are gonna go into all-time highs. So these little tools here, usually when an altcoin breaks all-time highs, okay, it goes around the 60% higher, right? This is just stats, and again, these numbers work very well. Don't ask me why. They've worked incredibly well, but I've learned that they're all percentage-based, right? They're all percentage-based. Let's just see here why it is not allowing me to do it. Okay, 1.618. Okay, so that's the zone over there. So what it does is it takes the previous dump and it works out 160% of that over there. Okay, just to show you guys how good this does work, it can be anywhere between 160% to 260%, okay, to 360%. Let me just show you how well this works. So if you look at the previous time this dumped, right, it's got a choice. The first one it does is it goes to the 60% mark. If it breaks the 60% mark, let's just get this on here so I can show you guys. Okay, this is why I love it. And it will give you a very good idea of where we're going next over here. It's an important tool, right? If it breaks through the 618, then it's going to go to the 160% mark. So again, what do I mean by that? The amount that it came down here, it does 160% of that. Right, and you can work it out and you can see over there. But you can see that it basically takes you perfectly into the zone over there. Now, if it breaks it, it's going to go to the 2618. And what we have is 1, 2, and 3. These are going to be such incredible tools to help you in the bull market when things are flying very big. Okay, 𝗬𝗍 went to the 618 and broke through it. And look where it stopped, exactly at the 2.618. Okay, exactly over there. There's the high over there. Thank you very much. You called the top. Fantastic, right? Now, the next thing over here is let's get an idea now of what this looks like, right? This looks, there's the 618. So the next area now is $7.2. And if we smack through that, then we're going to the $11 mark. So it gives you an idea that what you're fighting for here, this is the first target I'm paying attention to, is 7.6 to the $8 mark over there on 𝗬𝗍. right? So 𝗬𝗍 is looking beautiful and strong. Another altcoin, guys, that I think is going to rampage up is Blockstacks. You've heard me speak about it a lot previously. Love the token to bits, but I want to show you this over here, that this is also putting in its first higher high. And there's a nice support zone bounce incoming over here. And I'm also looking at this make its way to the 618. That's why I see a lot of these altcoins that haven't pumped yet, where they're going to next. You get a nice idea here that from here, we rally up to these zones over here. And I just want to zoom in again and just show you that a couple of big tools that you can use over here is just pop the damn trend line in. Okay, and when that breaks, then you know it's ready to go. Guys, love you lots. I'll be here tomorrow. I'll have a recording dropping on Friday for you guys. And let's just get our buy zones. Next week, we're smiling. We have fun again. It's all about money again today. And this week, keep your heads level. And let's focus on entries within the market. Love you guys lots. See you all tomorrow. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.